It is a first down. Pirates.
You can paint this one purple. What an incredible win by the ECU Pirates.
Welcome into Blackbeard's Alley, a Pirate football podcast. It is homecoming week for East Carolina. The Pirates are also having the annual Hall of Fame weekend. One of the three inductees on the football side of things is Pirate great Dwayne Harris, 17. Welcome into the show.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I think back 15 years ago, I guess 20 years ago now, hard to believe, but I remember hearing stories back in 2006 from some friends of mine that were on the team at that time, and just saying, hey, we have this guy, he's redshirting, but he's tearing up our scout team.
Oh, yeah. I used to take pride in beating up them folks. And honestly, they really made me better though. That defense really made me better as a player. Going to get some great, players who played at ECU, especially on that team. Also on that team in 2006, 2007, 2008. Defensive side of the ball, we had some pretty good players, so they really made me better.
Yeah. Obviously, folks knew what I meant. I misspoke there a little, but yeah, tearing up the first team defense when you were on the scout team. You were a high school quarterback, and we'll dive into your career more here in a minute. But let's talk about the here and now. You getting the news from East Carolina Director of Athletics John Gilbert, and also I'm guessing you probably heard from Coach Blake Harrell about your induction into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh man, like I got that call from the AD, and I was like, it was about time. I've been waiting on it for a while now. I feel like they should have been did it a long time ago, but I'm going in with a great group of guys, in this class, so I'm excited about it.
Hey, Dwayne, I can tell you, you're echoing the sentiments and thoughts of so many of us in Pirate Nation. I'm surprised you were not, in earlier as well. And I mean, just some of your accolades and the way you played the game, honestly, it really is like a true Pirate. I mean, you were just so relentless and so tough and so physical. But I'll just leave it at that for now. I got some stories about you later on from some of the coaches back in the day at ECU. So I'll save that and let Bubba take the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So diving into this career that you had with the Pirates from 2006 to 2010, just talk about your path to East Carolina, because I know if it was not for a natural disaster down on the bayou, that it may not have happened. I've seen that story a few times in the last several months on social media.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know. I wasn't initially going to go to ECU. It wasn't my first choice. I was gonna go. I was gonna go. My first choice was UNC. They ended up signing TJ Yates, and then they wasn't taking any more quarterbacks. And Boston College wanted me to come up there and change the wide receiver, and I didn't want to be a wide receiver at the time. And so I was going to go to Southern Miss was my next option. And when I called down there for signing day, I think it was Katrina. I think the Katrina thing happened, and nobody was picking up the phone down there. And so me being impatient, I was like, you know what? Junior Smith was always one of those guys who was like, hey, you always got a home here. Pirate Nation would love to have you. And so I was like, you know what? I called Junior. I was like, yo, y'all still got a scholarship waiting on me? I'm coming there. He was like, we do. And so I made that happen. So shout out to Junior Smith, for always just sticking by me all the way to the end.
Dwayne, when that happened, had you already visited ECU, or is it unofficially?
Yeah, I had visited ECU. I came to ECU. I had visited. I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. It felt like it was home. Some of the players was where I was from, so I really connected with the guys super quick. But, when I got there, the quarterback room was pretty like thick. So I was like, I really didn't want to, have to wait a couple years to get a starting job, and so I was going to go down to Southern Miss. The coach down there was like, they would let me, fight for the starting position, and so that was my initial go-to. And the same thing at UNC, they loved me, but they was only taking one quarterback, and they ended up taking TJ. And so, and then I was like, well, ECU want me, and I was like, you know what, I'm a competitor, so if I got to compete, then I compete.
Yeah, you certainly had an opportunity to play against the Tar Heels. I guess your redshirt freshman season in 2007 when the Pirates won on that last second field goal by Ben Hartman on the game's final play. And TJ Yates definitely had an excellent night, but the Pirates got the better of the Tar Heels. And I remember, speaking of playing quarterback, that first game of 2007, the first game after the horrific shooting up at Virginia Tech, you had some action at QB that day.
Yeah, that was like my little breakout for QB. Skip them. We was running a lot of they see me running a lot of West Virginia offense when when Pat was there, and they had all these running quarterbacks, Joe Webb. So I was doing a lot of scout team mimicking these guys, and they was like, we got to put a package together, get this guy on the field at QB. So they ended up doing that, and Virginia Tech was like the first game. We said, all right, cool, we're gonna bring it out and see what happened.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story real quick, Dwayne. The late Rock Rugerman recruited our school, and he and I would wind up. He would show up in second period, and he would leave at 6 o'clock at night. So he and I would start talking, and he I never forget. He's telling me the story because we had this dude who was a dog, and they got his ass stuck on offense right now. And he goes, "I'm gonna bring that dog over to defense. We're gonna bulk him up a little bit, and Huddy's we're gonna put him on a line on 3rd and long and stuff like that, and let him get at." And he goes, "But I think Skip would fire me if we did that." And I said, "What's his name?" He goes, "Dwayne Harris." And at the time, I didn't put two and two together, but thinking back to it, I just remember him telling me this story. And as I watched you play, I'm going, he could have played any position. You literally could have played any position.
That's a funny story because before I moved to wide receiver, so before I made the transition to wide receiver, they put me at running back. So they was going to take my red shirt freshman year because I redshirted that year. They was going to take my red shirt off, and I was going to play running back. I can't remember what team it was. I want to say it was UCF. I meant UCF was playing, I think, UCF at home or something. And they had me at running back the whole week because I think CJ had got hurt. We had I think Dominique had got hurt. We were down to 2 running backs. I think it was only Brandon and both Brandons, Brandon Fractious and Brandon Simmons, I think. And so it was Brandon Fractious, he wasn't holding on to the ball. I think he had 4 fumbles in 2 games or something like that. And they was like, we can't put him out there. And then B. Simmons, it was we'll try him out, bring me a 3rd down, maybe a 3rd down back or something like that. And so they was like, we're just going to use you. We're going to keep you on the sideline, practice all week, just in case we need you for the game. So after that game, they didn't have to use my red shirt. So after that week, they was like, all right, we might need you at safety. So they moved me to defensive back for a week. And I was like, yo, this ain't for me. I'm not a defensive player. I ain't never had to tackle nobody since I was in park ball. So, so I'm not tackling nobody. So they was like, all right, we're gonna put you at safety. They tried to move me at safety. And I was like, nah, I ain't want to do that. So they moved me at corner. I'm like, I'm not running after nobody. This ain't for me. It's too much running at defense. I wasn't built for this. Quarterback is my only position I really like because I don't got to run nowhere. I can hand the ball off, let everybody do the job, throw the ball to somebody and rack up stats. Easy job.
Yeah.
And so they was like, so one day I think Skip came. He was like, "What'd you think about moving to wide receiver?" And I'm like, at first I was against it, and then I thought about it. I was like, just if I wanted to get to the next level, at the time wasn't a lot of 5'10" quarterbacks like it is now. If I came out in this era, it would have probably been better. But at that time wasn't a lot of small quarterbacks. I think we had with Drew Brees probably was the only one probably under 6 foot. Seneca Wallace maybe. But it wasn't a lot of small quarterbacks. So I made a transition to wide receiver, not knowing nothing about wide receiver, not knowing how to run no routes, not knowing how to do none of that. And the first thing Kirkpatrick told me, he was like, we just want you to run, catch the ball and run. That's it. I said, it sounds easy enough. I was like, but I gotta I'm like, I don't know how to get open, I don't know how to run no routes, or none of this. The first day of practice, I was so tired. I said, is this what wide receivers do all day is run? I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And I just got used to it, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, I shared with Shane yesterday, if he was talking about you, and I shared a funny story from spring ball. I guess going into your senior season, and when the coaching change took place, and they were doing, you guys had a little cone drill. You did pre-practice, and you were just kind of everybody's cutting through. And I was watching, and there's some other high school coaches there, and you were just walking through it. And a GA or like a young manager goes, hey, coach, he's walking. And Coach Kirkpatrick goes, boy, ain't you figured out his ass ain't got to do this drill to be good. He's already good. And I'll never forget that. And he just kind of looked at me and smiled and grinned. And I thought I'd share that with you.
If you ask Kirkpatrick, he going to be like 17. He said I never practiced. I felt like I was always at practice. He said I ain't never practiced. I'm like, I felt like I was always the one practicing every day. But to this day, Kirkpatrick swear I was never at practice practicing. I'm like, I might not have been going full speed every time, but I was definitely there.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. He's a character himself. So you guys
got sure. Like the meeting rooms was like our meeting room, our wide receiver meeting room. So when I switched over to the wide receiver room from the QB room, so my sophomore year, like I had a little desk in the back in the corner, and I'm sitting all the way in the back by myself, and Kirkpatrick on the other side of the projector screen. So half of the time I'm in there asleep. So Kirkpatrick would be like, Dwayne, what you gotta do right here? And I just wake up and I was like, yeah, you gotta run the curl right here, coach. And if he's saying right here, boom, he was like, yep, see, that's why he get to sleep. And my teammates used to be so mad because I'd be back there knocked out, have my feet up, chilling.
That's great.
Yeah, DK's one of a kind. As Pirate fans, under Mike Houston and also his previous stints under Coach Ruff, anytime DK spoke to the media and Pirate Nation was tuned in because he was just being himself. He was hilarious.
Yeah, I love DK. That's my guy, man. He gave me a chance. You know, the crazy thing was I was never a starter at ECU, which is crazy. And I was like, yo, Coach K, why you ain't never start me? He was like, because we can't put the best player on the field just yet. I'm like, that don't even make sense. Got to put you as a secret weapon. And then he was like, you get tired too fast too, because I was like, I run too deep balls this time. You got to take me out. He was like, oh, we need you on third down. Yeah, we need you on third down, so we can't start you. I said, all right, makes sense.
Seems like one of the ways that Coach Holtz would describe you as a Swiss Army knife. And, just looking over your career numbers, don't want to get too lost in the weeds, but just unbelievable 6,500 plus all-purpose yards, 3,000 receiving, a little over 500 rushing, nearly 2,400 kick return yards, almost 500 punt return yards, and you also threw for over 150 yards. I think one of those 2 touchdowns came down at the Sun Bowl against UTEP. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To Jamar Bryant?
Yep. That was my first one.
So just your thoughts on it's different when you look at it on paper.
Yeah, it's different when you look at it on paper, because I look at it, I'm like, I left so many yards out there on the field, because a lot of people don't know I wasn't touching the ball that much. I get 6 touches a game at the most. I'm not even touching the ball that much. I think the one game I touched the ball maybe 10 times. I think might have been the most touches I had in the game.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because as fans, it's very easy to say, hey, Dwayne Harris has to get the ball more than he's getting it. And then so we definitely want to go back and talk about those 2 championship runs. But in 2010, with Coach Ruff and Lincoln Riley coming in, and speaking of touches, you knew in that scheme and the air raid philosophy, you were going to get just that.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna get the ball. I feel like I should have got the ball a little bit more, but we had some good receivers around too. So we spread the ball out a lot. Dominique did a good job of spreading it around, getting the ball to guys and make plays. We had some good running backs who wanted the ball. Everybody wanted the ball too. So when you got one football, you got to spread it around. It's hard.
Well, one of the things, Dwayne, that I always enjoyed about you as a player, and just from at the time I was coaching, I didn't get to get as many games in person, but I'd watch every ECU game. I'd move staff meetings around to watch the Pirates play, and luckily I had a couple of Pirates on my staff, so they understood, and other people didn't understand, but that was their problem. But you when you caught the football, you didn't just run. You ran with aggression. And I think that's probably what allowed you to do the things you did in the next level in the NFL as well, because you were just a physical player. You were not just a receiver. And I just enjoyed how you, when you caught the ball, you almost became like a different demon out there, and you were always trying to get yards, get upfield, be aggressive. And just from a fan's perspective, I just want to say thank you for that. And that's again, it goes back to the way I look at you. You're a true Pirate receiver. Like, you're always just scrapping and fighting and delivering the blow to the opponents.
Yeah, I think that just was probably like one of my best attributes to my game. I think yards out the catch. Once I get the ball, I just know how to make people miss. I was a quarterback, so making people miss was just easy to me. But it was just I just had to learn how to make people miss, and and most of the time I'm a lot stronger than a lot of people. I might not look like it, but when people get close and they try to tackle me, it's hard to bring this guy down because I'm used to the angles. I know how to, angle myself to, make people miss, try to take less hits, but also bounce off the hits. So it was just something I worked on, the craft, growing up as a kid.
Yeah, along those lines of that strength and physicality that you had as a runner with the football, are there, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but are there any runs at ECU that come to mind, I think, or, returns? Because I don't know if it was the 2010 game against NC State, but there were certainly multiple occasions where you in fact did have your helmet, ripped off. And then before you knew it, you're 20, 30 yards down the field.
Yeah, I think they put that rule in because of me. You got to come out the game when your helmet come off. They put that rule in because of me. I think my helmet was coming off at least 10 times a game. But the Southern Miss run on the reverse on the sideline to seal the game for to go to the conference championship. I think that was in 2009. The NC State punt return was another one. Man, it's a lot. It's so many runs, I can't even think of it. I got UAB, a couple UAB games. It's a few games, man. I be just sometimes I don't even know how I be doing some of the stuff I do. It just happens in the heat of the game. It's just the mind goes, and then I just go into football mode.
Is there one play specifically that stands out? Not necessarily a play like we just described, but I mean, whether just the magnitude of the game. You referenced that one against Southern Miss that helped us get to the Houston game and repeat.
Another one was probably the SMU kick return. That's probably one of my favorites. That's probably one of my favorites. The SMU kick return. We played SMU. I think that might have been 2009. I'm gonna say 2009 or 2008, maybe.
Yeah,
can't remember.
Down there in Dallas.
Yeah, down there. Yep.
Yep. From a team standpoint, you were part of that build. Coach Holt's second year, you got there. The program had won 5 games in 2005. We won 7 there in 2006 when you were redshirting, and then you were part of an 8-win team and Hawaii Bowl champions against Boise State, and then back-to-back conference titles in 08 and 09. What are your memories of those runs and just the building process?
Oh man, like when I first got there, I felt like the culture was just now getting started because a lot of guys was like, man, we ain't been winning. And then my freshman year when we got there, we went to the Birmingham Bowl, I think. Was that Papa John's? Might have been Papa John's at the time.
Yeah, the PapaJohns.com bowl with no pizza.
Yeah, that one. So I think after that year, a lot of guys seen like, all right, this is that turning point. You know, like this is where we gonna make that turn. At like a lot of guys now they feel they winning now, so a lot of people feel getting that good taste of winning in their system. And I think they just carried over to the next year, and then in the next year, and then when I got to my senior year, I think my 2009 year. You know, that senior class, man, they was just hungry. You know, they just wanted to win. You know, and the guys, I think a lot of the guys who came in with me, you know, kind of sparked that. You know, we had 4 freshmen I think played. We had Nick Johnson. We had I think Sean Allen, DJ. I think we had like 4 freshmen, 4 or 5 freshmen playing on that 2016 who came in and played in that true freshman.
Right.
So I think that when that game when we got in, I think that's when the coach kind of started.
No doubt. And one more thing for you before we transition over and talk a little about your excellent decade in the pros. But one of the things you had that performance against Houston in the title game that you referenced in 09, 9 catches for 123 yards. Of course, the game was saved by the Van Eskridge pick in the corner of the end zone on the tip ball off of Travis Simmons. And what are your memories of that? And then also of playing with Chris Johnson because CJ, of course, he had right at 7,000 all-purpose yards in his ECU career, and you were right there with 6,500, and he had an unbelievable senior year when you were a sophomore.
Yeah. Man, that Houston game, I think that was probably like because I played in that game. I didn't get to play in that first championship game due to a broken foot. So coming back my next year, you know, I wanted to help us get to another championship. I know it was the first time anybody had been back-to-back in Conference USA at the time. So for me, I just wanted to get us back there. And once we got back there, I was telling guys, man, look, this is our time. We got to go back-to-back win. We were playing a powerhouse in Houston, you know. So, you know, I think they was ranked at the time, maybe like 22 or something like that. And we had just came off a good win. We had the momentum playing at home too. So it was a great feeling. I think that was probably like one of my most memorable ECU games, you know, playing in front of the Pirate Nation, Conference USA Championship at home. It had stormed right before the game, field wet. It was perfect football weather. Like it was just a good time.
Yeah, we were talking with Shane yesterday about being inducted, and you said earlier you felt like you should have been in the Hall of Fame a while ago, and nobody in Pirate Nation would disagree with you. So we're all supportive of that. And tell us about what that feels like now to finally be honored and get a chance to go back to Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium and with all the changes that have happened there aesthetically since you played and just be a part of that team.
Oh man, I love it. You know, it's a blessing, you know. A lot of guys get to play this game and never get recognized for nothing, you know, and just to be recognized for, you know, what I did at ECU is a great feeling, you know. I know Pirate Nation is excited for me, you know, and all of us who, you know, get into that Hall of Fame, you know, it's a big honor, you know. It's definitely a great honor, great feeling. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to get back to Greenville, Pirate Nation, and celebrate with them. Some guys who played on that team, some guys who was before and after me. So it'll be a great time.
A little about your career in the pros, and you were, of course, drafted by the Cowboys, and you spent several seasons with them, but then you also had time with the Giants, and then a cup of coffee there at the tail end of your career with the Bears, I believe, during COVID in 2020. But what are your memories of the NFL? You were able to accumulate right at 6,000 return yards, 4,200 in the kick return game, and nearly 2,000 in the punt return side of things.
Oh man, time in NFL, man, it was amazing. I loved it every second, every minute, every hour, all the way to when I quit until I retired. Um, it was just amazing roller coaster of a ride. It's a lot of emotion, especially playing. And then you become a free agent, and then you don't know where you're gonna go. You get to pick, but you don't really know what kind of situation you coming into. You don't know what the team might do. How long you're gonna be there. It's just a lot going on that people don't understand, like the stress level of it. Also trying to get a job, keep a job, and try to maintain a job. It's a lot of stress, but I loved every minute of it, though.
One of the plays that immediately comes to mind is that punt return, I think it was, that went 99 to the house there at the Coliseum with the Oakland Raiders, and playing for John Gruden at the time. And I just remember watching Coach Gruden on the sideline and watching that play over and over. What are your memories of that one?
Oh man, if anybody knows me, like I'm always trying to get that play. That play was been in the back of my head since my second year in Dallas when I seen somebody do it. I seen this play happen my second year in Dallas. Coach was showing us on film, and I seen the play, and ever since then I was trying to do the same thing this guy did. And when it happened, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is my chance right here." Like it just felt right. It just happened all in the sequence of how I visualized it all the way to the touchdown. Like I just realized, like I visualized that whole play as soon as it came off the guy's foot. I was like, I wasn't returning. I'm like, all right, it's gonna go in the end zone. And then I seen the guy running out there. I'm like, I always trail the ball just for that special reason right there. And he just happened to just toss it right, put the ball right where I can get grabbing, and I just like, all right, this is my chance right here, and took it, grabbed it, went around the side. From there, it was over with. I knew the punter wasn't going to tackle me.
Well, Dwayne, I've got to drop, and I've enjoyed having a chance to chat with you. And congratulations on your accolades and your being honored this weekend. And we're honored that you were a part of Pirate Nation, and I'm so happy to see you back in Greenville. And I'll just leave it with this. I hope you see us beat the absolute snot out of that other team we're playing. So, and make it even better for you.
Oh yeah, getting a win. Oh, it'll be nice, man. Because the last time I think I was at the Charlotte game, we ended up losing, and we played terrible too. I think that game we probably had like 100 yards the whole game. We had like 50 yards total in the first half, and I was like, yo, I don't know what's going on with Pirate Nation, but this was not what I was used to.
No.
Yeah, we're trying to forget.
Yeah, they don't beat us 2 times, and I don't like that. They're a new football program, and they don't beat us twice. Yeah, we gotta get revenge. We gotta put up at least 70.
Well, Dwayne, we really appreciate you spending a half hour with us. Any final message you have for Pirate fans before we wrap up?
Hey, Pirate fans, y'all, let's see me this weekend, man. And we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a blast. I'm super ecstatic about receiving this honor. And I just can't be nothing but humble and enjoy the moment.
Well said. Well, Dwayne, again, we appreciate the time. Safe travels on your trip to Greenville. Definitely look forward to potentially having you back on the show down the road and talking some Pirate football. But all the best, and Pirate Nation's proud of you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Anytime, you know that. Just hit me. I'm always available to come on.
Sounds good. All right, Pirate Nation, that is East Carolina great Dwayne Harris, better known as 17. Be sure to follow us on social media at Blackbeard's Alley on IG, at Blackbeard Alley on X. And then, of course, you can find us on Spotify as well as YouTube. But that will do it for this edition of the show. We'll talk to you soon. And as always, go Pirates.